Welcome. Today we're going to take a quick look at how to use SmartSign2Go. I'm currently logged in with my Chrome browser sitting on the dashboard. The dashboard contains three sections: pages, playlists, and channels. Pages are like slides. Whatever you want to present on the TV screen has to go on a page. And you can see we have 5 pages here already pre-populated to the account. You can add a page at the right. Add button gives us a blank page to build on, or the little arrow there would send you to the sample page library where you can search through different types of designs for different events or purposes and add those to your account as well. And we will also talk about how to use Canva or other design tools with the platform. To edit what's on a page, you just click and choose edit or double click, and that will take you to the page designer. And you can start by looking to the top right to resize this space to make it more comfortable with your particular computer monitor. This has no bearing on what size the ultimate design is. It's just to make it easier to view on your particular computer that you're working on. The border around the canvas represents the border on your TV screen. So as we build a design here, it will look the same way on the TV, regardless of TV size or resolution. So it will scale accordingly. If we look to the bottom left, we'll see a settings gear that allows us to change ratio and orientation. So for example, if we were installing screens in portrait or vertical orientation, we could choose that 9:16 and have a tall page to build on. But for most people, of course, we're going to be in regular horizontal landscape. And so then we can start, if we want to, by assigning a background. So we can do a color or an image or even another page as a background. If we had a lot of pages and wanted to have the same styling across different pages, we could assign the same page to make kind of a consistent background that we could easily modify down the road from that one central background page. But for most people, we would just add an image or nothing at all. You can just build your page. Let's click on the image tool here. And I've already got one. I'm going to make a gym welcome screen here. So I'm going to add that to the background. Now I'm going to add a logo. So I'm going to open up basic elements, choose image, and upload something from my computer. Here it is. So I'll add that to the canvas. Now, whatever you've added to the canvas, you can just simply drag it around, resize it, grab a corner, and you'll look to the left to see the properties for it. Some of these items are common across all the different functions. So layering, for example, as you add different items, if you want them to be stacked in a particular way on top of each other, you can use the layer tools to adjust that. And then animations also. So you can have different items moving around on screen at different timings. We'll look at that in a second. Let's add some text next. Text next. Okay. Let's go welcome. And let's change this to a different font. Let's make this just a little bit bigger. And let's center this. Yeah, well, let's also add some shadow to it, make it stand out a bit more. And we'll drag this around. You'll see there's some lines that pop up depending on where you are to easily center things and whatnot. So let's place that there. Let's add the weather next. Now, I know I was having some trouble with my internet connection. It wasn't pulling in location a second ago. Let's see if it works. Let's put Scottsdale in here. Come on, baby. There we go. And we'll choose Fahrenheit and let's go daily. A bunch of different settings here for weather. You can change the style of this widget. Let's just choose this one and let's resize this down just a little bit. Center that and let's add some additional text below it. I'm just going to copy this item here to the left, drag this down. Let's say forecast for Scottsdale. Let's make this smaller. And move that center. And let's set up some animations for this. So I'm going to have the welcome text there fade in when this page appears on the TV screen. Let's have it fade out at the end before moving on to the next page in the playlist. And for the weather, let's have it drop in a second and a half later and fade out at the end. And the final bit of text, let's have it fade in 2.5 seconds later and fade out at the end. The play button at the bottom left of the canvas is specifically for viewing animation sequences that you've set up. So if I click that, we're going to see what I've configured, whether that was correct. Looks good. All right, and let's add, just for fun, let's add the time in the apps section here. Click on time. Just like with weather, there's an option which is usually selected already for to use the playback device's location. So if that's enabled and you've set a location for your player device, then you could use the same page across different players, and depending on where they are, it will pull in that location's time or weather or other data specific to that location. So you can use the same designs on players in different locations. Let's set this clock up to be an analog clock. There's also a countdown and count up option. But for this case, let's set our clock up like this. Shrink this down. That right up there. And let's save this and go back. So now I've got my brand new page. I'm going to add it to my playlist. You can do that by just dragging it down to the playlist. And it gets added to the sequence here. I can drag that around to a different order. I actually don't want these stock pages, so I'm going to drag them off the film strip. You can also just delete them from the top section and they will be removed from the playlist. Let's add another page. And we can also get here just by double clicking on the playlist or clicking and choose edit. And that gets us to this same spot. The stock timing is 15 seconds per page, but I can click on this button right here and change the timing to whatever I may want and save that. And we can, of course, preview our design on screen and we'll see our fancy animations that we set up a second ago. And if I waited longer, I would see that next page come up. I'm going to close this. So you've got a couple other options here to look at in the playlist. If you are on Advantage or Enterprise, you can click on a page and choose Schedule to have a particular page only shown at a given time. So you can fill out whatever is relevant for the schedule you want to set. I'm going to close that for now. You have also a music option if you're on Advantage or Enterprise, where you can select a radio station from anywhere in the world, or choose my own web address where you can put in the address of an audio stream that you're hosting somewhere, or paste in a YouTube videos web address or playlist address. So those are options as well. Page transitions, that's for transitioning from one page to the next. You can have an animation happen in that way as well. And that pretty much sums that up. And then in the channels area here, your account by default is already assigned a playlist. The channel gets registered to your playback device. So a channel represents one or more TV screens. You could have one player or screen registered to a channel, or you could have hundreds, just depending on how you want to distribute content. So by default, you've got the one channel and you can register your player to it, which if you haven't done that already, you can just click on the play button on your channel, choose option 1, type in the 6-digit registration code that you see on your player device, on your TV screen, I should say, give it a name, and that will connect it to the channel. You can also head over to settings. I'll show you that in a moment. And then inside the channel, you also have another area of scheduling where you can schedule entire playlists. So I could have multiple playlists that I've dragged down onto the channel that are set for different time frames. And you can hit the little pencil icon there at the right and set a schedule however you want for that particular playlist. So if you wanted to add additional playlists to the channel, just hit the add button in the playlist section, drag your pages into the playlist, drag your playlist down onto the channel, and that would be an additional playlist. Or you could just drag a new playlist down, delete the original one, and just have a different playlist. So different things to talk about there. But basically, it just involves tying these three sections together. And once that's done, if I were to make an edit to this page I made today, for example, it would automatically update at the TV screen within about a minute or so. Your player device is checking in with us once a minute. So depending on if it's in the middle of playing a video or whatever else is happening, it will intelligently integrate those updates over time. Let's look at how to use Canva. I'm going to jump over here to a design I've already pulled up in Canva. So if you want to use, Canva's great because they've got such a huge template database of different designs and similarly easy design tools. The one thing to keep in mind with Canva is that you want your design to be the same shape as a TV screen. This design obviously doesn't fit a TV screen. It's too narrow. So what we want to do first is resize it. Now, of course, some designs are already in 16:9 or, that ratio that a TV is. But if not, we just click on the resize button at the top left and choose 1920 by 1080 pixels or an equivalent resolution. It can be higher resolution, but 1920 by 1080, that's a good kind of base level HD crisp resolution. So I'm going to select that. Let's copy and resize that. Let's open that up. And then I could make my edits here, of course. And when I'm ready to send that over to my account, I would just click on share. And what we want to do is, I think I've already added it here, but let's click on, what you would have to do is click see all, type in player. Now I'm actually going to, let's click on open. Here we go. Yep, this will prompt you to connect to your account. And by default, you just have the one folder to place this page in. So I'm just going to select that and we'll save that. And in a moment, we're going to see that appear on our dashboard. Go over to dashboard. Let's refresh this page. And here we see our Canva page. I can rename this, of course, but if I want to use this, I would just immediately drag it down to the playlist, add it to the rotation, drag it wherever I want. And of course, I can go in and edit that page here as well to add additional content on top of it. So if I wanted to add some scrolling text or a social feed or whatever, I can build on top of a Canva design. Other areas to look for, you can find different sources for content in our help center or by reaching out to us. One I really like is Poster My Wall. They've got some really cool video templates. So you can have like a video running in the background of your design. That's another one that's great to use. And you can build a design there, download it to your computer, and then upload it to a page in your account with us using the image tool or video tool or whatever it is. There's also Giphy, where you can make animated GIFs and upload those using the image tool. Those are a lot of fun. All sorts of different places you can find content, including just building something from scratch in Photoshop and bringing that in, and then adding bells and whistles for dynamic content on top of that with the different tools that we have. So lots of different things you can do there. If you look to the top right, of course, there's a little question mark, which will give you quick access to help from us. There is the settings gear. Let's take a quick look at that. In settings, one thing that I like to point out is there's an option in here for when player loses internet connection. So this determines what happens when internet is lost temporarily on site. And by default, it's just set to wait. And what we want to do for most cases is actually set this over to repeat. So if you lose internet connection, it'll repeat what it already downloaded to cached memory, which is most items. But if you're running like a YouTube video or have social media feeds, those would go dark while the internet is out. So that's one thing to check. If we can go some different things here, we don't need to spend too much time on. You can see what's actively running. You can add additional dashboards. So if you have different sites, different locations, different departments where you want to have different people managing content, you can add additional dashboards, and you would see those as a little drop-down menu at the top right in your account. That's a great way to keep content separated within your organization so that they don't get mixed in. You can have specific people assigned to those screens, or for their areas of responsibility. So you could have one for HR and one for marketing or whatever, one for certain regions of the world and one for other regions of the world, however you want to separate that content. That's a great organizational tool. And then, of course, we have users, where you can add users and assign them different roles for what kind of access they should have, what kind of functions they can perform. Players is the other area we would go if we want to register our player device. You can just type in the registration code, give it a name, of course, choose the channel it's going to play, and we can see what players we've already registered and edit what channel they're assigned to, or change the name or whatever. You can click the identify button and it will put the player's name up on the TV screen if you've got a bunch of players here and you're not sure which one's which. So some different things you can do there. Bunch of other functions you can find out about in our help center. And I think that it pretty much covers what you need to know to get started with us. We always encourage folks to reach out to us for a personalized tour. So you can just send us an email or give us a call, and we can schedule a personalized tour by screen share where we can walk through what you specifically want to get up on screen and help you through that, help you accomplish that. So that's available. Of course, you can always call us, text us, or email us, and we sure hope you're enjoying the system. Thanks for your time.